Good morning, London Town. Welcome back to Step Up with Simply Greg. You're listening to, once again, Step Up with Simply Greg. My name is Simply Greg, as you can obviously tell. And Step Up with Simply Greg is all about elevating the mind and empowering you to make a change one step at a time. So today I'm joined by the amazing guest, Glenda Roberts, who's a psychotherapist. And she's the founder of Just Talk 2019, which is an amazing organization that provides affordable counselling to those who need it most. And also recently released a film called Dying to Be Famous. So we're talking about the effect of social media and reality TV and how that also impacts our emotional and mental well-being. So thank you obviously so much, Glenda, for sharing so much as you have shared with us ever so passionately, you know, about some of the challenges that affect us, especially when it comes to social media and this reality TV stricken world or society at the moment that just wants to be known, you know, a star. What are some of the preventative measures we can all take to prevent ourselves from going down that road and be taken into suicidal thoughts?
Okay, so it's about being mindful, mindfulness techniques. There are apps, free apps that people can download from Headspace, and one of the things that we developed through as a tool to help people. It's a free tool and it could be downloaded from our website, which is www.justtalk2019.com. And what it is, Greg, and I'm just going to hold this up now. Your viewers can't see this, but for the
they'll have to watch it on YouTube.
They'll have to watch it on YouTube. Please download this tool. It's this is a preventative or one of the preventative measures that we've developed ourselves. And those of you who are my age or you know a little bit younger,
21
will remember a fortune telling kind of like
origami kind of thing,
an origami. And what we developed was it's to do with mindset, exercise, nutrition and sleep. And we feel that these are really four of the key major issues that people forget about, really. So we developed this tool that, you know, if you open it up, for instance, it says on the exercise, it says set small achievable goals, completion fuels motivation, and then it says consistency is key, don't overwork. And then it says things like, when you open it up, work smart, avoid stress, a little exercise daily is better than a lot so often. And then for nutrition, it's got things like, are you eating the right food at the right time? And then it's got, are you regularly consuming enough water, vegetables, vitamins? Avoid eating after 6:30. This will give your body plenty of time to digest your food before you sleep. Because the last thing you want is to go to sleep with a full stomach. I mean, you know, how bad is that? And these
and what's the effect of that overnight as well? Because someone was just telling me about that yesterday, you know, because I had a quick binge and they was like, no, Greg.
Yeah, well, if you can imagine, if you're eating a really big meal of curry goat and rice or something like that after 6:30 and then you're going to sleep, or, you know, you're not going to burn that. How are your organs going to work to burn that food off? It's kind of like just sitting there and it's not causing you it's not doing you any good. So that
also affects how you feel as well?
Of course. Okay. Also affects how you feel as well, because you probably could be waking up really kind of feeling sluggish as well the next day. So 6:30 we feel is the cut-off time to, you know, if you're going to eat something after that time, maybe just a slight snack. And things like 7 to 9 hours sleep, you know. It says both mind and body are happy when they are in healthy sleep patterns. Make sure you get enough sleep. And it says self-worth, which is a good one here, Greg. Breathe, meditate, and self-affirm to build self-esteem and confidence. You know, all of these little things. But you can get this tool, so people can actually get this tool.
So this was created by yourself?
Yeah,
and your team?
we created this. My son put this together for us, and you know, did all of the graphics for people to get free of charge. And you can put this in your phone. It's just a little reminder. So when you're feeling a little bit anxious, when you're feeling a little bit low or depressed, pull this out. It will act as a reminder for you to do whatever you need. And these are the four components, like we said: exercise, nutrition, sleep, and mindset.
Amazing. So these are the kind of practical things that they ought to, or the areas that they need to focus on and make sure that they are upkeeping first and foremost. Otherwise it will slowly... okay, so if one of them is lacking now, is that also a slow indication of that, or is that something just to be more aware of?
I think it's something to just be more aware of, and I think it's really, really important, Greg, to have a balance with all of these. So exercise is really, really important for depression, for instance, and also for anxiety. So if you learn how to deep breathe, if you're suffering with or from anxiety, we always say breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, but try to get that oxygen in, through your diaphragm, and let it go really, really carefully and really, really slowly, and focus on your breath, because when you're anxious, you're breathing very, very quickly and shallow, and that's not doing any good for you. Okay?
Amazing. And what about when it comes to your interaction with social media and how you manage your time on the phone, especially with this kind of generation at the moment, millennials and after millennials? It's obviously the screen time that they're spending on the phone.
Do you know what? I do feel, from a perspective as a therapist as well, that and from your eyes, you're on your phone maybe maximum 2 hours a day. But if you're on the phone for 2 hours, have a 20-minute break. But be aware if you are feeling that you are becoming addicted to using social media. And when you feel that you're waking up, first thing you do before you brush your teeth and have a shower is you're going on your phone. I mean, just change that, please. Just change that pattern and be mindful of the pattern that you're in. And it's
true, because if you don't know whether or not you're addicted to something, try and take it away from yourself for a day.
Yeah.
Right? And if you feel that you're twitching, then you're like, okay, I need to address this particular aspect or area.
Fantastic, Greg, yeah.
Because some people will be like, oh no, I'm not addicted to it, but then they're like on their phone every 2 minutes, and like you said, 2 hours is roughly the time that a lot of people are actually spending at the present moment on social media, according to the studies that have also been released.
I think, Greg, people need to be mindful of consciously living, of what they're doing at any given point. And when, we encourage people to do that, they'll look back and even keep a diary and say, well, what did I do today? Well, I spent 6 hours on social media. Well, I spent an hour of eating my food, but it was really rushed when I ate my food. I did no exercise. And people can keep a score for themselves and an account of what they're doing for themselves. And then they can go back and then they can check and then they can fine tune things to suit them, can't they? So,
because at least when it's on paper, you can actually see it for yourself and identify what to change.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. It's not rocket science, Greg. It's so simple. But I think a lot of people these days have just lost touch with all of that because the gadgets seem to be taking over. The gadgets are taking over, but we don't, please, for people who are listening to this show today, just be mindful. It's you that needs to take over, not the gadgets.
Wow.
Okay.
And what can you say about people learning to value themselves more instead of looking for that validation through social media fame or popularity or reality TV or anything like that?
Do you know what,
What is your
Greg?
response to that? How do they increase their value?
I think that people, like I said to you about having a relationship with themselves, if you woke up early in the morning, you had your shower, you got ready, go towards the mirror, just greet yourself, say to yourself, actually, I feel good, I look good. But even if you don't, like I said, it's okay. But acknowledge yourself.
First,
Don't forget who you are. People these days are just really living fast lives and they forget themselves. They're always too much in a hurry, and it's quite scary.
Very much
Slow down, please.
Yeah. And what are the perils of doing that, of being in a position where you no longer value yourself to that extent?
Well, you lose yourself, don't you? You lose yourself. If you don't start valuing yourself, you lose your identity. Well, you probably won't have an identity. And then it's quite easy for you to get caught up in what we're talking about, social media.
That's it. How can family and friends and those around us, or those around the people who are feeling like that, what can they do to support or help? Or how do we address it?
Okay, I think that people need to be mindful for each other. If people have an addiction for social media and they don't know that they have an addiction, I think one of the messages that I'd like to say to people is calmly say to that person, how do you manage to do that for so long?
It's kind of halfway complimenting on the, how do you manage?
Yeah, because the minute someone says, you got to stop that, or dictate.
A defense comes up.
The defense mechanism comes up, and they're just saying, well, screw you anyway. So, it's about the way. It's always about, Greg, the approach.
Yeah.
So how do you manage to stay on and do that for so long? That acknowledgement that's going on there. And
so it's an acknowledgement rather than you making a statement at attack or anything like that.
Statements of attack doesn't work. It's been proved and tested. But if you're
because by acknowledging something as well, you're bringing it into their awareness. Maybe they're not
Fantastic.
actually aware that that's how they're operating or the effects of it.
Because it can become an addiction, and then before you know it, people are just lost in what social media does for them. The minute they get a like, it's like, wow, I must have been doing something good. The minute they get a dislike, why? Why? And what we've got to imagine as well is, Greg, there are trolling people out there. They're like the trolling police that troll people on social media. And I'm saying to people, look, beware of the trolls. And also, I need to get another piece of advice here for the trolling people. Good or bad, it's people's choice if they get a negative troller online that says some nasty things to you. Please block the troller. You do not have to engage in conversation with a troller. Okay? You have a choice. The minute you start to engage, you're caught up.
You're allowing yourself to be involved with that life as well. Now, you also recently released your short film, which is called Dying to be Famous. Please tell us very briefly about that and what it's tackling there.
Okay.
And
brilliant. Okay, so I teamed up with one of the original cast members from EastEnders, Delaney Forbes. She played Cassie Carpenter in, I think it was the early 80s. And I teamed up with her. So Delaney actually wrote and directed the film, and I executive produced the film with Delaney. And we produced together Dying to be Famous. And it is a film all about the effects of bullying and social media on a young person, and basically what happens is so we put this film together because we felt that it was very, very poignant at this point to show not just the young people but everybody really how vulnerable people can be, using social media and what could happen when somebody is trolled. And with this particular character, Ruby, played by Lily Reid, in our film Dying to be Famous, is she loses her father at a young age, and so she's already kind of in a vulnerable state, and her mum's nowhere to be seen. Her mum had left the family home, but Ruby's father died, and Ruby didn't actually deal with the effects of bereavement. So she was already in a vulnerable state, and she thought she would kind of try and seek some sort of gratification through social media, as you do. And so she started to tweet and started to vlog and all the rest of the things that people do on social media. And all of a sudden, she was entered and spiraled out of control, hundreds of thousands of followers. And then, because of feeling very vulnerable, because she hadn't dealt also with the bereavement and the loss of her father, she gets trolled, and she starts to receive some really, really negative comments on social media, and so much so that you're going to have to watch.
She leaves you on suspense there.
You're going to have to watch the film. So
and Glenda, very briefly, where can they find it? How can they find your information, just very briefly before we close?
Okay, so brilliant. So one of the things I need to say, if you'd like to watch our film, please go onto our website, which is www.justtalk.com. 2019.com. You can watch the film from the website. Can I just say that ways in which people can get help if they are feeling vulnerable and they need to talk to a therapist, please go on to bacp.co.uk, find a therapist. Also go on to UKCP, find a therapist. Also go on to the Samaritans if you need to talk to somebody, 116 123. And if you are feeling suicidal, dial 999. Can I just say also, Greg, that I've also teamed up with a brilliant filmmaker and director and producer called DT Films, and we will be collaborating together. So the production company that I've put together is Just Talk Productions, DT Films, and what we will be doing, we will be making short awareness films together for everybody to benefit from.
So thank you very much for everyone who's been listening and locked in with us as well. As you already know, every Thursday we're here at 10 with Step Up with Simply Greg. So you can also catch us during the week via social media, which is at Simply Greg Show on Instagram, at Simply Greg Show on Facebook, and at Simply Greg Show on Twitter. Life is difficult enough as it is. Why make it any more? Simply Greg. Catch you next week.